Hello, this is Aya of the Dawn. Thank you so much for tuning in, liking, subscribing, commenting, joining in the universal conversations that we have with one another. Um, Let me take this out so I don't break it. In my tablet. Okay, I want to do video corresponding to the last video I made about the divine masculine and feminine and why we're fighting. And the reason why I was shocked by that message is because that's something that's not healed within me. Usually when I do readings and I speak on something, I can tell you the ins and outs, the all the way arounds of it. Like I'm healed in a lot of ways, and nothing really still is hurting within me when it comes, like when I give my readings most of the time. Like there's like not a lot of darkness in certain areas in my life, in my space. So I was shocked when I started pulling the cards and to have that hit me so hard. I feel like usually I can close the cap better, and I feel like I just kind of left that wound open because it was open for me. And so I'm going to do a reading on the divine feminine and divine masculine and rejection. I feel like if I feel like this video needs to be made because in order for things to work out on this planet, we have got to stop rejecting ourselves and rejecting one another. And I will also like for us to stop taking a defensive stance, like I'm moving on without you, boo. No matter what. And I know that's like of the beginning defensive stance when you need to move on because you feel rejected. Like the first thing you do is fight, you know, because it hurts so bad. In my group, you can join my group if you want. Students of Nature and Divination group on Facebook. I wrote a post about how heartbroken I felt, you know, with the rejection of my divine masculine. It's just kind of like he's still not done. After us reconnecting, I feel like things didn't move fast enough for him. My trust issues like made him question whether or not I'm the one, and or whether or not he should continue to put effort into, even though it had only been like a week. I told him, give me to the summer and then we'll see. He wanted me up where he's at right now. He wants me there now. And since I wasn't ready, he was like, well, I'm just going to do my thing. And I was talking about that in the last video. And then our beautiful communication we were having, I feel like for the first time ever, we were actually being heard by one another. And I know that's like a really simple thing, but that's really all I need. I don't really ask for that much. All right. So for me to have to put up my boundaries again it hasn't been like fun. It's not fun. That's not something I want to do. But it's led me to some interesting discoveries. And it's also led me to more self actualization. But I still feel rejected. Like, I feel rejection. And it's not just from him, he triggers it. I'll say that. I feel rejection, probably from past lifetimes. So, I would like to do a spread on that. The journey from rejection to self acceptance for us. Let's do that. I'm gonna pause because that might be a bit of a spread. I need some more space. One second. Okay, so I'm going to run this reading much like I would run like a session with someone. Okay, so I'm going to get really tuned in, and this might be a long session. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but I'm going to take my time. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I need this, we need this, and we're doing this together. Let's do it. The first thing I want to do is tune in and get a card from the 72 Angels deck to assist us on this 30-minute or so journey that we're about to take. Okay? The first angel that came out is Nema Maya. And this angel is angel number 57, if you want to look it up. This angel is about, you can also read the human distortions on the back. Discernment procures a sense of action, reveals the cause of problems, liberates prisoners, renounces material privileges to devote oneself to a mission. Strategic genius, decisiveness, participates in building a new world. Magnanimity, devotion to great causes through one's ideas. Comprehension of life plans. Gifted intellect, power of anticipation. And what I'm doing is invoking the energy of this angel consciousness. Okay. The next angel was angel number 47. It's Asalaya, contemplation, glorification of the divine mystical experience, global perspective, overall view, contemplates from an elevated viewpoint, synthesizes information easily, initiates supernormal faculties, pedagogue, instructor, professor, psychologist, finds truth in little everyday things, revelation of cosmic processes, strategist, creative genius, talent for planning. Intuitive balance radiates discernment and integrity. Great interest in the esoteric. Asalaya. Okay, I wanted a card that was more associated with what we're going through in our womb. Mahael is the angel number 48, and it's the angel of fertility, marital peace and harmony, marriage, marital fidelity, reconciliation, fusion of masculine and feminine poles, reproduction, growth, helps engender a noble soul, ease in associations and partnerships, gift of clairvoyance, improved perception, inner and outer peace, helps materialize divine intentions, providential protection, reconciliation, fusion of masculine and feminine poles. Mahael, we need your assistance. The first thing my intuition asked me to do was to pull some chakra cards. Okay, chakras. So I'm going to pull a card for the root chakra. And we're going to hone in on the message. How to heal this rejection and abandonment wound that keeps us fighting. Okay. This makes a lot of sense. It says, fearing, this is the beautiful picture on the back, fearing an undesirable outcome. Do you feel the need to over control your life or the lives of those around you? If you frantically live out on the edge of your sense of self, your life spins out of control and your fears become larger than life. I'm taking mental notes as I read this, so you might see my eyes doing stuff. I don't know. Surrendering control is an act of power that will reconnect you to a current of energy that is available to us all. Plug in to the source of this life-giving energy by connecting your consciousness with the consciousness of the earth. Okay, there's a few things here that I can pull cards about. When we are rejected, you pull yourself back. You also wish that you can pull any of yourself back that you showed to the person or to the the group, you wish you could take back your true self and never show it again. So you start controlling everyone around you. And this relates to the divine masculine, divine feminine. It's because we want to make sure that before we show our cards, before we show our hand to each other, before we show love to each other, that we're not going to be rejected again. And so what that makes you do, and when you're not showing your true self, who are you being? Who, what are you expressing? Like if you're not showing your true self, which you are neutral, unconditional, unbiased love for everything in creation, if you're not showing that, what are you doing? What are you showing? You know, you're showing. The thing that popped into my head is like the ugliest side of yourself, just so that you can protect the true you. And so you're living on. It says you're living frantically on the edge of your sense of self. Do you understand that? So it's like, what can I use? This is all of you. This is all of you inside, outside. And before you got hurt, you were like, here I am, all of me. And so now that you've been hurt, you're like barely showing who you are. You're living, and you live off of that one little edge out of fear of all of this being rejected again. Okay? That's what we're doing. And then we expect people to love us like we're whole. We expect the divine masculine ladies to love us as if we're whole, just so that we can get the courage to be ourselves. And divine masculine, the same thing. You expect for someone to love you and kind of like already know who you are, so that you don't have to reveal anything out of fear of rejection. And it says life spins out of control and your fears become larger than life. So when you are afraid of showing up as your whole being in its glory, because you're beautiful, you are a beautiful being. Okay, you can sing, you can dance, you can act, you can draw, you can paint, you can write, you can speak. You're smart. You know, like you guys are everything. But you've been living out this one little edge right here and giving your divine masculine and divine feminine hell because of the rejection that you feel inside, and you're holding back, and you blame them for not loving you enough. Let's do a reading. Let's get into it. Let me tune in for a second. How do we... Okay, now that we've talked about that, the next part of this card is talking about surrendering control is an act of power that will reconnect the masculine and the feminine. Need to reconnect. Surrendering control. Surrendering control. That means cut up and let loose without expectation of the other person still being there or not. Let people decide. Again, now it's not the same. Let me tell you something. The fears that we hold inside, we carry them as if we are still 6, 8, 10, 15, 16. I mean, some of you guys watching this might be. I don't know. But we carry the pain, and we never want to see it again, because rejection and abandonment, estrangement from yourself is painful. You know, and that's not something that you feel equipped to even face on your own. You feel like you need somebody to help you with that. And you were relying on your divine feminine, the divine masculine, the mirror of yourself to accept you. And you thought that was going to do it for you. You know, you're like, finally, I found somebody that gets me. And you fell in love. And then you found that, you know, each person's work is their individual work, it's their choice. There's no amount of nurturing and nourishment, divine feminine, that you can give your divine masculine that's going to make him do anything. You know, sometimes our love, I hate to say this, can be like imprisonment for them, um, because they feel like they owe us so much, and we make sure that they know it, especially when we get mad. I'm not saying that we're like always spewing it in their face, because a lot of the divine feminine is super gracious and loving beyond anything that anybody can ever imagine. The divine masculine has it great, you know, in comparison, if you want to compare apples and oranges. And it says surrendering control is an act. So it's not like you can sit still in your room and just be like, okay, I surrender. You have to live it. You have to live surrender. So let's pull some cards. What cards do I want to use for that? All right, so the first thing I want to do is look at, check in with us. And the first thing you do is you check in with how you're feeling right now. You only can deal with yourself from where you're at, okay? And this is for divine masculine and divine feminine, because we have the same wound. We do. This is our this is our sacred wound of separation, rejection, abandonment. Okay. Okay. What I see here in the Hierophant is that you're learning. You're in a learning space. And how you got here is from receiving pushback from your divine masculine and feminine of the way you were doing things. It was not working. It wasn't bringing peace and bringing harmony. So it's like you're learning what it's going to take to, you're willing to learn how to be peaceful. Because I pulled the King of Cups for you. You're willing to learn your divine masculine, your divine feminine, even if it's from afar. Um, It's like you're calm now. It's like the storm is passed over, and you're beginning to like check in with yourself and take into account the tools that you have and the tools that you don't have, and maybe seeing how ill-equipped you are to be in this space with this person that you love in a divine way. You know, a person that you would sacrifice your emotions for. And the Hierophant is about joining together in a traditional sense, in like holy matrimony, in that type of ritual. You know, it's like you're trying to see how you can make this happen. Like what is it that I have to do? What do I have to say? Like whatever I have to say, or whatever I need to learn, I'm willing to learn. Whatever it is I need to reveal within myself and with my emotions. So I feel like you're like in a learning space. And that will make sense if you even clicked on this video. And you're in a learning space because there's some things that need to be brought out into the light when it comes to healing your emotions. Um, the sun is reversed and it's next to the King of Cups. And the sun reverse isn't negative. It's saying that, you know, although you've done a lot of work, it's kind of like the the sun is not all the way up. It's this the sun has a little bit of disbursement. There's light. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and you can see it. And this is just kind of like the remnants of the things that you need to heal, but you're healing it in a way where you're calm and collected. And here we have another card about balance next to the sun, reverse the justice card. The justice card is reversed. It's like, okay, so you're basically, it's just what I just said. You're feeling like something's not quite right. When the justice card is reversed, something's not balanced. Somebody's not getting their just due. Something's not all the way fair. And so you're looking to learn how you need to come across to one another in a better way so that everybody can get their needs met, so that both people can be happy. This is really painful to separate because one person feels rejected or the other person isn't. You know, so and I see you healing this in a creative way. Like the King of Cups is very mature emotionally. So the King of Cups is going to look you in your eye face to face and let you get your emotions out and let you explain yourself. Or the King of Cups is going to allow you to purge your emotions and be a shoulder, that divine masculine, that divine father that you need in order for you to be able to say, you know, I just don't feel like something's off. Something's not healed. Something's not all the way connected. We're not seeing eye to eye. We're not healed. We haven't come together, you know. And so this is the goal, the Hierophant, for there to be a traditional type of union, a relationship that is grounded in this world. Getting them papers, talking about, you know, getting married. Um, for some of you, that's the goal. And surrendering control is an act of power that will reconnect you to a current of energy that is available to us all. So surrendering to a lot of you actually means getting married. And I know that's something that my divine masculine has mentioned to me, which is something that, I mean, we've talked about, but not in the way that he's talked about it lately. He's been like serious in a way about it that I've never seen him be serious about it before. Okay? And after the Justice card reverse is the Five of Wands reverse. So the defensive stance is dissipating. You know, something's gotten you off of balance. The feeling that something's not right, something's not fair, something's not complete, has made you not want to mess it up any further by fighting. It's almost like you're waving your white flag. And I also feel like you could be playing a passive role in order to just get along, and that's not right. You do need to stand up for what's right and what you believe in your own space. Because some of your fighting might be passive and not explosive. And so you might be holding on to these feelings of rejection and not expressing them to your divine masculine, to your divine feminine. And it's because you feel like you can't. You feel like if you say anything, it's going to cause a fight. And it's going to ruin the hard work that you've done over the past, I don't know how long some of you guys have, it's been since some of you guys have gotten back together, but it seems really recent. And it seems like everything's happened really fast. So these wounds are in your face. And so in essence, the universe is saying that things aren't going to be right. Like, you're not going to be able to have this union, this peace, and this calm until the secrets and karma is balanced out. And it's not going to be a passive thing. You're going to have to be active. The surrender is going to have to be active. Just like this card is saying. And since these cards are reversed, how you guys are feeling, you're feeling like holding back. You're feeling like not surrendering. You're not surrendering to the process. And what that tells me is that a lot of us want the ceremony part of this card, the Hierophant, without things actually being balanced and being right, and for karma to be cleared. Okay, let's look at and it looks like you need to be honest about your true feelings. You need to be honest about your emotions, how you feel, in order for you to have this energy flowing through you. And some of us, it's like we feel like we wouldn't choose this person. This is not, it's like, why do I keep coming back? Why do I have these feelings? Like, why do I, why me? Why her? Why him? It's not even about that. It's about the clearing of this karma and this current of energy flowing on earth. So if you can take yourself out of it, then you can heal. If you can just focus on the healing process and not who it is that you set this up in past lives already, you know? And no, you can't help who you love. It's already been ordained. The Hierophant, the King of Cups. You would love, the truth is that you would love to marry her or him and be with this person and live in happily ever after. But you won't tell the truth. You won't live this truth. You're refusing to live this truth. And so things aren't right. Things are not squared away. You know, and although this turmoil, you're not acting it out, it's inner turmoil. You cannot sleep. You are not going to be able to sleep. You know, me and my divine masculine haven't spoke in a week almost. But he texts me all day long. And I could see the struggle within him. And I just, you know, my guides told me that I told you guys in the last video I had blocked him. I really did block him because, you know, at first he was this, and then this always happens. Like we get around each other, and then he feels like, well, I feel great. I'm about to go out and have fun. I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm like, with the energy that I just gave, my support, I don't think so. So I withdraw. You know, you're not going to go out and use my feminine energy and do God knows what with God and God knows who. That's how I feel about it. I'm not doing that. That's not it's not fair. That's not why I give my energy to you. I'm like, if you want to be in the healing space with me, you can pay me for a reading, for a healing session. We're not going to be in this. You're not going to be like, me amor, I love you so much. Anything you need, I'm here for you. I want to marry you. I want to be with you forever and ever. You know, blocked. And that shit hurt. That hurts. I was crying about, you know, you see me talking shit, but it really does hurt me. And so we were looking at how you're feeling right now when it comes to this surrender. And we have a little bit of work to do. So now we're going to look at why, because it's important to have self-understanding. Self-understanding can turn around your perspective, and the higher perspective will give you an ability to let go. Okay? So let's look at why you're being so controlling. It's like you won't let the light shine. You won't let the light in. Why? Why are you being so controlling? Okay, you're being controlling. The Seven of Swords reverse. You're being controlling. There's a truth. The truth about who you really are is starting to be revealed to you within yourself, within your own mentality. And it's a sensitive issue for you. You know, it's something that you've kept hidden underground for a while. The Seven of Swords is about thief, lying to yourself, lying to others, cheating yourself, being cheated on, and you're starting to not cheat yourself. The Eight of Cups, out of the flow of your emotions. Your emotions are taking you on a pilgrimage. And the Eight of Cups is about a personal pilgrimage. A pilgrimage that, well, by the end, you don't know where you're going to end up at the end of it. You know, and you do feel out of control, like you're swimming uphill, and you don't know who you'll have to let go on this journey, who you're going to run into, and just in general, it's like a monk going on a long journey through the Himalayas and the mountains, and you're going on this journey knowing that it's going to change your life, but you just don't know how it's going to change your life. And then you have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So you feel like the truth that you don't want to reveal is that you feel like you've put in a lot of work in this relationship already without getting the results that you want, and you're tired. And you don't want to put any more work into it because you're afraid that it's going to fail. You know, you're afraid it's going to fail. And if that's the talk you need to have that. Have that talk so you can have some peace. And here we have the Eight of Swords reverse. Either you are blinded and tied up and wound up by this, and haunted by the fact that, you know, you have this beautiful relationship and you're going on this pilgrimage, and you're not really going on this pilgrimage alone, but you're willing to face it alone if you have to, just so that you can avoid the disappointment of your relationship failing, you know, or you are beginning to let go of the blindfold and take it off and look around and deal with the facts. And the reality is it might fail. It might. And the reality is it might not fail. Surrendering means being okay with both. Finding a place within you that you're okay, and that you're you're connected with yourself enough. You're surrendered enough that if it fails, at least you were obedient to your soul, and it's an experience. It's a learning lesson. There's so many lessons in this relationship. There's so much healing in this relationship. There's not going to be a loss. You're not going to ever lose anything. All right, and the last card is the Three of Wands, and that's an interesting card that's next to the Eight of Swords reversed. It's like you'd rather be alone if you're not going to be treated with respect. And both the masculine and feminine feel that way. I know that my masculine feels that way about me. Like I can be like super disrespectful to him and his process and where he's at sometimes, and I'll admit that. You know, I could be more understanding, more nurturing, and more kind. There's just certain things that divine feminine that we know and we've been through already, and they want us to praise them and support them in that. And you know what? I'll say this also. I'm willing to do that, but I'm not willing to be like a mother, like, and not get my needs met. And this is the Three of Wands in a relationship reading is about um, each person being able to have what their say in the relationship, because it's about your vision. You know, what's your vision in a relationship? What's your vision in this partnership? What do you want to get out of it? What do you want to get out of it? And And it's right underneath the Five of Wands reverse. So this is something that needs to be said. This is something that's not being said. This is something that's not being dealt with. And you don't feel right, and your karma isn't right because, you know, there's some issues, some more healing that needs to be done. And there's maybe a part of you that needs to be alone for a little bit so that you can handle your issues, and then have the self understanding to be able to communicate. Because when you don't understand your wounds, what happens is that you lash out. When somebody's lashing out and kind of throwing a tantrum and angry, it's because they don't really understand. You triggered something and they can't use their words, you know, and then you just want to retreat. But it's like you're starting to understand, and you're willing to understand, and you're willing to do the work. Okay, so now let's look at, lastly, surrender. What's life like? What's life like in the surrender? Okay, what would that bring? So strange. Okay, so what I'm seeing is somebody with their training wheels on, that if you surrender, it's still going to be bumpy. Like you're like a little kid that has their training wheels on, and then you get them taken off, and you have to put them back on. You take them off, then you have to put them back on. The ego issues will still take precedence sometimes. But then what comes after these two pages is the Page of Swords and the Page of Wands. So it's like I see like almost fighting like brothers and sisters about who's in control, like power struggle. Even after you surrender, but you'll be doing that together. The pages make me smile because it's really youthful energy, and it's saying that like you're going. This is to me going in the right direction. Um, I know we all grew up watching television shows where resolutions come after 30 minutes. I'm a 80s. I was born in 81. And I know I grew up with that. And so and then my parents made life seem like it was supposed to be like that, especially materially. Your communication and how you interact with one another needs to be worked on. You need to work on how you talk to each other. But if you don't surrender, you won't even get to this point. This is something you need for life. I want you guys to understand that this healing is not about having the perfect relationship, but it's about being with the one, that you're supposed to grow with. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that you can trust to be in this sacred space with you. The card that I pulled after that is the Queen of Cups. And while you're still learning each other, learning how to talk to each other, learning how to act, not being mean and selfish and stubborn, not just saying slick stuff at the mouth. You need the Queen of Cups, the nurturing, intuitive wisdom within you to help smooth things out. So you'll have some love. You have love. You'll have love. You'll have mischievousness, and you'll also have nurturing if you surrender. You'll still struggle with putting yourself first. Sometimes you'll be so into the relationship that you'll forget that you have needs. And that's something that needs to be worked on. You need to learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time. But you'll have each other and you'll get through it. Okay? And the Nine of Wands is saying that all this will overwhelm you so much that you'll want to give up. And you've been feeling this way for like a month now. Every time I pull cards for the Divine Masculine and Feminine, even just for myself, it's like so overwhelming that you just want to give up. And what the card that's above that is the Three of Wands. We have three rows of wands together here. The Five of Wands reversed, the Three of Wands, and the Nine of Wands. Okay, all odd numbers. Interesting. Um, so you have this passive aggressiveness when it comes to standing up for your vision. And so you don't tell anybody what you want and what you need, who you are, your expectations, and maybe you're learning them, and so you keep them to yourself. The Divine Masculine and Feminine are super intelligent, so you guys try to find the right time, the right way, the right everything to say things to each other because you're trying to avoid fighting. But I understand because you're afraid of each other at this point. You know, everybody said such hurtful things to each other that you're afraid that you're going to get your head bit off. And that's where the King of Cups comes in. You know, being gentle, being kind. We have the Queen of Cups here and we have the King of Cups. So keep those archetypes in mind that even though you feel overwhelmed, you know that there's love in this relationship that keeps you coming back for more over and over again. You can't get enough of your divine masculine and feminine. Well, actually, you can, and you wish that you could just sometimes, but it's more. This is not about you, and it's not necessarily about this relationship. It's about the mission. Okay, it's about the mission of wholeness, of the divine androgyny, of basically being secure with or without this person. And interestingly enough, in order to experience that, you have to go through this with someone. You can't go through it alone. All your issues are being mirrored back to you, back and forth to you from your divine mirror. And if you allow it, it will purify you. And the universe is saying that, you know, things aren't going to be right if everything doesn't come out that's inside. It's almost, you're almost there, but just deal with this issue of surrender. Surrender and speak your feelings. Surrender and care. Um, Learn how to care for someone and not be so insensitive, not be so rude, not be mean. It's okay. You know, we're all growing up. This is a process. And you guys are pioneers. So you don't have a blueprint, but you will be the blueprint for the whole of humanity when people start really getting serious about this transition. When people come out of the stage of just doing affirmations. Affirmations are great, you know, but there's a purging of deep hurt, rejection, abandonment, and behaviors that have come along with this energy that needs to be transmuted. Okay? And you guys are an important part of the alchemical process. And thank you so much for your service to humanity. This is Aya of the Dawn. And if you would like a personal reading with me, feel free to contact me anytime. I'm available to you all. Peace and love. Okay, there's one more thing I want to say before I go or do. I want to pull one more card, chakra card, for your alignment. We talked about surrendering control is an act. Surrendering control is in an act of power that will reconnect you to a current of energy that is available to us all. Plug into the source of this life-giving energy by connecting to your consciousness, by connecting your consciousness with the consciousness of the earth. Okay? So we need to pull one more card for the end of this reading for the alignment of your chakras alignment. This is the card. How free, it says freedom, 5. How free can you be? And this is the sacral chakra. How free can you be? In a world that values freedom, how often do you feel confined by the choices you have made? How do you break the rules actively or passively? New possibilities arise when you stop expecting new results from the same old choices. Let me read that again. New possibilities arise when you stop expecting new results from the same old choices. The life you are dreaming of lives on the outer edge of life, and there we're talking about the outer edge of yourself. The outer edge of life you are living. The life you are dreaming of lives on the outer edge of the life you are living. And so we were talking about getting out of that space where you're in fear of surrender, and you're not really living the life of your dreams. You're not living in your complete truth. Your fears hide your longing for life. Get to know them and discover the pleasure hidden there. So we've already talked about um, your hidden fears, your fear of surrender, your fear of rejection, your fear of putting too much effort into this relationship and not getting anything back in return, your fear of exhaustion, you're just full of fear. Fear, 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 fear. And so you're not living. And then your fears become larger than life and they haunt you, even in your dreams. You can't even get any restful sleep until you live in your truth. And the truth is that you need to surrender to your growth process. This is part of your growing process. You found the one. You asked for this. Remember? Even if you asked for it when you were a child, you asked for him, you asked for her. She's here. I'm just going to pull this one as well. This is the next chakra up. Mistakes, 11. Hiding our mistakes binds us to the past. Blaming ourselves or others only leads to more mistakes of a similar kind. It's not the mistakes we have made that haunt us. And I was talking about things haunting you. It is the way we have interpreted them. When you look back, are you able to see the gifts your mistakes have given you? The richness of the journey is lined with mistakes. And so we're fearful of making mistakes with our divine masculine and feminine, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to choose the wrong partner. You know this is the right partner. They call you higher, and they don't let you get away with not being yourself. What more? I mean, yes, yes, yes. What more can you ask for than somebody that sees the real you and tells you to get on it, get on your path. What are you doing? And it's the beginning of the reading. I was talking about this rejection that we're healing. We're talking about healing this rejection. And it makes us reject our partner. The very things that they call us to be and call us to do, we reject within ourselves. Okay? The richness of the journey is lined with mistakes, each one an opportunity to shed light, the sun, on the shadow side of the human nature, the sun reversed, telling the truth about your shadow side. Is there a critical voice in your head constantly reminding you of your mistakes? Yes. The Eight of Swords reversed. And there was another, there was a card, the Eight of Swords, and was there the Nine? There was no Nine of Swords. Remember, don't believe everything you think. Okay? I'm just going to go up the chakras and align your chakras. Solitude, the heart. How strange is it to feel alone in a crowd of people? If you find yourself feeling like you are all alone, these feelings may have an important message for you. If you have the urge to break the silence with distraction, simply notice how uncomfortable being alone can be. Let the pain of being alone break you open. Cross through the discomfort and find comfort in being yourself. In this moment, I'm about to cry, it's beautiful. Trust what you know to be true. A new perspective is awaiting you. Blue, the throat chakra. Communication, 34. Keep saying what's in your heart. If you're feeling misunderstood, resist the urge to talk yourself out of your feelings. Slow down. The words will come from your heart. Speak. Don't be passive. The more you understand yourself, the more you will feel understood. Right. Self-understanding. Communication from deep in your heart has the power to move mountains. Express from the King of Hearts, the Queen of Cups, the King of Cups. Express from that space. Expressing the truth you find in your heart will set you free and inspire others to set themselves free. And that's the reason for this mission. This is not about your relationship. This is about the mission of the divine masculine and feminine to set themselves free from this bondage of rejection and fear. Reflection. The crown chakra, 43. Ponder your reflection. Ponder your reflection. How much of who you think you are is an illusion? How much energy have you invested in keeping these illusions alive? The more you resist this transformation, the more you're going to still be living in this illusion. What does it take to make everyone think that everything is just fine? Is it exhausting keeping up these appearances? The authentic self you seek lies below the surface. Every observation that you make creates an effect on the patterns you observe. What is your life reflecting back to you? A crown. Offering, 47. 43. I just keep 7. 30, 34. I pay attention to that stuff. 34, 43. Freedom is the 5 is the definition of freedom. 11, inspiration, which is the solar plexus. The heart chakra, 3, 30, 3 and 0, creative freedom. Communication created foundation, 34, which equals 7. Reflection, 7. Foundation of creativity, 47. And so that's a accumulation of the 4s, the 7s put together, which is 7, 11, 2 11s, 2 7s, a 3, and a 5. 47. Wow. Interesting. Not a coincidence. Nothing is. 7 is about spiritual solitude, the mystic. This is a mystical journey we're on. And you're building a foundation of creativity for others to come. You're building a foundation of your creativity is the foundation of this mission. Your inspirational creativity. You need your freedom in order to create. You need your freedom in order to allow your inspiration to shine through. If you find your days running together, this is the picture on the back. If you find your days running together, each day much like the next, wake up to the wonder of life. What appears to have no life is really an illusion. Geometrical patterns run through all life and connect us in unseen ways. What can you do to serve the world? Simply wake up to all that surrounds you, and your life becomes an offering. Simply wake up to all that surrounds you, and your life becomes an offering. Like the air we breathe, the essence of life is shared by all. Collective consciousness awakens humanity to the new way of being. One more card for the alignments, and I'm going to put all these cards back and in deck. Ask, 39. This is what's going to help you align those chakras. If your days have been spent meeting the needs of others and your own needs are starting to pile up around you, remember to ask for what you need. Protecting wounds from the past may leave you unwilling to ask. If you feel disregarded when you ask for what you need, then it's time to stop disregarding your own needs. Ask for what you need and pause long enough to let new solutions to old patterns show up in unexpected ways. Let the impossible be possible and ask. That is what's going to help you guys' relationships and help you continue your mission. Talk, ask each other for what you need. Don't get mad for the other person not meeting your needs. Ask, which means that you have to be in touch with your wounds, which means that you'll heal your wounds. And although it's uncomfortable, it'll make you feel some relief, and you deserve relief. You deserve some relief. You've been holding on to this stuff for a long time. So it's time to ask for what you need. Divine masculine and divine feminine. When your divine masculine and divine feminine comes to you and asks you for what you need, because I believe in synchronicity. A lot of you are about to receive a phone call or a text message saying, I want to talk. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to deal. You know, be receptive. Sit and listen. You know, and teach your divine masculine and divine feminine what you just learned from this video. Tell them to watch this video if you have to. That's all. That's all for real this time. I know I feel a lot better. Like this is something I needed to say to you. I've been struggling trying to let me shut up. I can talk, girl.